Hey guys, so let me explain this zine assignment to you. For the rest of the year, so all the way until March 26th, you're going to be working on creating your own zine. Everyone is making their own. And as you saw in that video, zine is like a very tactile process, making these zines. And so these are not going to be digital creations. I actually want you to be cutting and pasting and handwriting, and you can type some of your writing, but then like combining those with drawings or cut out pieces of magazine. I really think that what that guy says about us getting digital exhaustion is true, especially after COVID, now that so much stuff is on Canvas and like so much of what you're doing every day is on your Chromebooks. So this is like a very analog type assignment, a very cut and paste type assignment. You need to center your project around a topic, but it can really be any kind of topic that you want. So I was very into zines when I was a teenager, and I went to some of these zine fests and we traded zines there. And I had some great ones. I got one that was like a bike mechanic guide. And so it was all these things that could go wrong with your bicycle and how to fix them. I had one that was a travelogue of these girls who backpacked around Europe, and it was just like their diary entries of what they did every day. There's one very famous zine that is about a guy who is a dishwasher who goes from city to city, like once a year or something. He's kind of like moves around, lives in an RV, and he'll move around to a new city, get a dishwashing job, and then he'll write about his experiences at this new restaurant, like the people that he meets there, what he does in the town, and so on. So there really is like an endless amount of opportunity, like endless amount of topics that you could talk about. It could be political, it could be personal. When I've made zines in the past, it was kind of just like a little snapshot of what my life was like at the moment. And so I included poetry and art and photographs and whatever, and I put it all together. And people really, it's fun to see these, like people like these, and it can be fun to see the topics and the way that other people approach these topics. So you'll make these zines, and I'll tell you more about the requirements here in a minute. And then you will exchange them on May 25th. No, for you guys, 26th. So we'll have on the last, that's basically the last like full day of class, we'll have a little zine fest of our own where you can go around like exchanging with each other, and we'll have you look through the zines and so on. So that means that we're going to Xerox these, we're going to copy them, and you'll make enough copies to give to friends, to trade in class. And then we also have an opportunity to have them in the library. So Crystal down at the library says that we can put barcodes on the zines. Now they need to be school appropriate. School appropriate for a library book is a little bit different than school appropriate for approved reading in class. So it's not that it has to be completely clean. It doesn't mean that it has to have no objectionable or controversial material at all. It just means that it can't be over the top. Like we can't have, graphic things in our library, right? But she can barcode them. And so all next year, people can check them out. We'll have a little zine library that people can check out your zine and go and see it. So you could tell your friends like, oh, it's in the library, you can go check it out, which I think is so cool. Salt Lake City also has a zine library. Salt Lake City Library has a zine library. And so if you're into the idea, they just accept what you send them, and they'll also barcode it and have people able to check it out. So we can just like mail it up to them. I actually, from when I was a teenager, I have some zines in that system, which is embarrassing that it's still there, but it's like very cool. So anyway, that's the assignment. Let me tell you about the requirements for this assignment, because it's free. I really want you to be able to write about whatever you want to write about, but there are some things that we need to make sure that you have. So number one, it needs to be at least 10 pages. It can be any size you want. It can be, whenever I made them, I would just fold 8x10s in half. And so it was just a very standard size. If you do it that way, like a printer paper folded in half, you need 3 pieces of paper, and that will be 10 pages with a front and back cover. So 10 pages plus a front and back cover. You can also, though, you can make a small one. You can make an even bigger one. I've got big paper, so it could be like actual magazine size. You could, I've seen people do clever things like you can make little stars. It would require cutting them all, but it works, or like a circle, or however you get creative. You can also get creative with the binding. Most of the time we just use a long arm stapler and staple it. The library has one of those for us to use. But I had one where we hole punched it and used twine to bind it, which was kind of cute. So, you can be creative with that part as well. It needs to have some kind of element of collage. And by the reason I'm making you do that is because I really do want you to actually experience cutting and pasting things to make the look of it right. We're kind of practicing with visual rhetoric here, and how things laid out on a page or how you actually create the physical object of a book creates meaning. It has to have writing as a main component. So it's English class. There are such things as zines that are just photography zines or art zines, but I do want you to include some aspect of writing. And it doesn't have to be whole stories, but it needs to be a main component. But I do have some people who are doing like comics, and that would be a great way to do it, because that combines writing and visuals. And there's a lot of ways you can include writing. I just got the ideas that you could include recipes in it. Yeah, anyway, so writing as a main component. And let's see if there is anything else I need to make sure that you do. That's it. So that's the assignment. It's very broad. For today, I want you to make sure to choose your topic. I want you to have a good idea of what your zine is going to be about. You can also start writing things for your zine or kind of planning it out. Sometimes I used to make like almost like storyboards, like where I'd like draw what the zine would look like and kind of like map out where things would go. That could help me. You could start even putting it together. You could start the artistic side. Now we are going to copy these, so don't staple them yet, don't bind them yet. They need to be on their individual papers. But in the back of the classroom, I've got my art supplies out. You guys know the drawers where my crayons and everything are in. If you need more of that stuff. We're going to be spending class time doing this. You might have to work on it on your own. It kind of depends on your project. So we're combining this with the book club assignment on later this week on May for you guys, Wednesday. So in next class period, we have the first half of our books are due. There will be a quiz on that. You'll have your book club assignment, but any days that we're not doing book club, we are working on our zines till the end of the year. So we have like kind of a little workshop going where you'll get lots of class time to work on these. So I will be back on Wednesday. We'll talk more about this assignment, but I wanted to get you started on this. Use this time wisely because you will need all the time that we have to finish the assignment. So have a good time. I'm really hoping to see some creative, interesting stuff from you, and I will see you soon.